Hello. I just wanted to give you a quick reading update. The 2nd of July, I gave you no updates yesterday, so this vlogging thing is going very well. We also have not finished any books yet. We're supposed to essentially be reading a book a day in the month of July, and we are already behind, and it is the 2nd. So, in general, I would say things are going as planned. I am still reading Beach Read, annotating it a little bit. I've never been an annotator. I don't have tabs. I know I'm not cool like all the other booktubers, but I have been underlining and like writing little notes in the margins. And by little notes, I mean I mostly have been drawing hearts. Like this note here that says, Gus. This book is so good. I don't know if Emily Henry, I mean everyone pretty much agrees that this book is very good. Not everyone. I know Chandler Ainsley didn't like it, which is fine. She doesn't have to. I don't think Emily Henry gets enough credit for how beautiful her writing is in these books, because some of these lines are like literally stopping me in my tracks. And not just like the dialogue, because I think she gets a lot of kind of compliments for how like witty her banter is. It's like more than that. It's also like the writing itself. I wanted to give a quick update. I haven't updated in a while. I finished another book over the weekend. I read Long Bright River by Liz Moore. I read this actually, it looks pretty chunky, but I actually felt like it read faster than it looked. I think there's a lot of white space. She does really short chapters, and there's also a lot of like divider pages. Anyway, I felt like it read fairly fast. It is a detective story about this woman who's it's not a detective story. It's a police story about this woman who's a police officer in Philadelphia, and it's about her relationship with her sister and kind of her relationship with like generational poverty and addiction within her community in Philadelphia. It talks a lot about kind of police corruption and how the power imbalances between police officers and citizens, especially in impoverished and kind of like areas in cities where there's a lot of addicts and a lot of crime, can really lead to a lot of corruption. Yeah, just like kind of how the relationship between police and the community really breaks down very easily. Like had some very interesting conversations around policing in general. Also, it has a lot of really interesting conversations around addiction and those cycles of addictions in family, and it was really good, really compelling, very heavy, a little heavier than I expected it to be, but I really enjoyed it. So I finished that. And then I also started, and I'm almost done with, The Summer I Turned Pretty. It's like a very short book. I was watching the TV show, and then my hold came in from the library, and so I've been reading The Summer I Turned Pretty. I will likely finish that tonight. I probably have like another hour, 45 minutes to an hour left in that book to read. It's like good, it's sweet. I actually think I might prefer the TV show more. I've kind of liked the other layers of complexity that they've added into the TV show. I'm not done with either of them, so we'll see, but I'm really enjoying that so far. So that's kind of the update. We are definitely behind on the reading goal. We're on July 5th, and I have finished 2 books. And like Beach Read, although I'm going to count it towards the 30 books, I don't count rereads towards my like book goal for the year. So Beach Read actually hasn't helped me. So maybe we'll pick it up, or maybe we're already failing. I don't know. So there's that. So I've been reading 1,000 Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. I'm on chapter 14, which is like, I'm pretty close to the end. I've got like 50 pages left at 83%. It is sad. No one was joking when they said it was sad. I knew it was sad. I like read it in bed last night and I was crying. Will I sob at the end of this book? 100%. So I have to like, I almost finished it this morning, but I was like, do I want to start my day with a sob? I decided no. Essentially, this book is a walk to remember. Funny story. I read A Walk to Remember when I was in high school, and it is actually a book that like triggered like a book ban, like a personal book ban, not a like actual book ban like we're seeing now. No. I did not ban Walk to Remember in any real tangible way in libraries, but I read it and I spent like whole summer convinced I had leukemia, like in my head. Like the Walk to Remember convinced me. And I think essentially what happened was like 14-year-old me was like, clearly I'm not like deeply in love with someone, but like maybe I could be ill. We'll take a wing yet. Anyway, so after that there was like several years in which I like could not read like romance books that had anything like like sick lit, essentially. Like The Fault in Our Stars. I think that was one of the first ones back, because The Fault in Our Stars didn't come out until like 2014, 2012, 2013. I was in college when The Fault in Our Stars came out, I'm pretty sure. I like couldn't read romance books that had sad endings or sad parts. Like Nicholas Sparks, Off Limits. I just like had to be very careful because they like really mess with my like teenage mental health. I like could not handle it. Can I handle it as an adult? I don't know, but now, I mean, no one was stopping me before. This was a ban instituted by myself and my best friend. Like my mom was like, read whatever the heck you want. But I was like, this is not good for me. I've always been kind of like sensitive to books. Oh, the movie came out in 2014. When did the book come out? 2012. So I was still in college. I was a freshman in college when The Fault in Our Stars came out. I remember I let my friend borrow it, or I like told my friend to read it, and she didn't realize how sad it was, and she like read it in like the college coffee shop and was like sobbing in the college coffee shop. So sorry, Emily. I mean, like, the premise is, like, pretty sad. I thought you would catch on. But anyway, just kidding. I love Emily. Very, very sad. I'm sure I'm going to sob at the end. Is it super well written? No. It's, like, pretty classic Kindle Unlimited. It's a YA book, I think. All the characters are YA. It seems like it could be very comfortably YA. Like, this is a book I would have eaten up as a teenager. Now, like, a little less so. The writing is, like, a little repetitive, a little simplistic, but, like, is it bad? No. Like, sometimes I'm having, like, a good time. I mean, I'm having, like, a good bad time. Like I said, I've cried multiple times, but, like, overall, fine. The premise of this book is, like, cute, sweet, wholesome. It's about this grandma who gives her granddaughter a jar with, like, 1,000, like, folded up paper hearts, and she's supposed to record 1,000 boy kisses on these hearts. Which one? Is that homophobic? A little bit. She was like 8 when she gave her this jar, so we didn't know. Anyway, she's supposed to, one, have them all with the same boy, so like better not start writing on them until you're for sure. And also they're supposed to be so she can like read them to her grandkids. I don't know about you, and maybe I just have a weird relationship with my grandma, but I like do not want to be knowing about all of my grandma's kissing adventures. Also, 1,000 is like a lot. She's like, only write down the ones that are really special. It's like a weird number, because if it's like every kiss, like obviously you're gonna probably be kissed more than 1,000 times, because like there's 365 days in a year. If it's supposed to be like really special, maybe you're only getting like a couple a year. Like 1,000 just feels like a very strange number. Anyway, like, and there's a point in which you like skip like 50 kisses. We go from like the mid 300s, and then suddenly we're in the low 400s, and I was like, girl, where did all those kisses go? And I think what happened was like a week passed and she got like all of those in a week. I'm just saying the math doesn't totally add up. Also, I think the concept is a little weird. Cute, sweet, a little weird. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I'm sure I will finish that today and probably hopefully finish something else. I'm like very behind. I was like, I'm gonna read 30 books in 31 days. And I've read like no more than my usual. Hi, coming to you with wet hair. Because I just got out of the shower on a hair washing morning. It's Saturday morning, Saturday, July 9th. Obviously I just got finished singing my like 3rd round of Last Kiss by Taylor Swift, because as you know, July 9th is Last Kiss Day. And I just wanted to give you like an update, my like final update for this week, on what I read this week, because that is what is happening. Okay guys, I'm massively behind. So remember I was like, I'm gonna read 30 books in 31 days. And it's day 9, so I really should have read 9 books. I've finished 4 books. That's not great. I've started a lot of others. I'm like halfway through a lot. I think, me personally, in my reading style, since I read more than 1 book at a time, a lot of times my books finish in like jolts and starts. So let's just like recap what I've read though. I've already talked about most of these. First thing I finished this month was Long Bright River by Liz Moore. This is like a mystery crime novel, and I really liked it. And then I read The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han, and then I read I Am by Maggie O'Farrell. I can't remember which of these I gave like full reviews for. The Summer I Turned Pretty just like wasn't for me. Like would have eaten it up when I was a teenager, but like I'm not a teenager anymore, and so it wasn't. I didn't love it. Loved the TV show. That last episode made me weep. Oh my gosh. I loved how they did that last episode. I'm excited to see where they go. I did watch Stephanie Bohr's video where she read through the whole series, and so I do know what happens in the rest of the series because I don't think I'm going to be finishing them. I think I'm donesies. And then I read I Am by Maggie O'Farrell, which is a memoir told in little vignettes about times she's almost died. And I loved that as well. Okay. And then I don't think I gave like a full recap of 1,000 Boy Kisses. Guys, let me start by again saying this is a book I would have loved when I was a teen. I adored like a sicklet story. This book is very reminiscent of A Walk to Remember, which is a story I absolutely adored as a high schooler. But like now as an adult person in her late 20s, it like wasn't for me. I don't think there's anything wrong with this book, like inherently. I like hate that conversation around like, is it a good book or a bad book? Because I think there are very few things that like really break down to that binary. There are some things that are truly like atrocious, but this book is like beloved, and I think she does a great job of like very like clearly and cleanly telling the story. It just like wasn't a story I was particularly inclined to hear, and now I know that about myself, because this is something Nichelle of like 2010 would have like eaten up. Also like big spoiler, if you're gonna read 1,000 Boy Kisses, this is like a big spoiler, like last few pages spoiler. Okay. I hated the ending. The ending, like the very ending, like the epilogue sort of ending, knocked a full point off of my star rating. A full point. Because my star ratings I do not share typically unless they're 5 stars, because we love to share 5-star, but like they're for me and my enjoyment. I keep them, I do them in Storygraph, so I guess they do go into like a pool, but I don't, unless I'm giving something like a really high star rating, I normally don't put them in my Goodreads, because I think stars are like a little reductive, but I also find them like interesting to look back on over the course of my year. So I use Storygraph. My Storygraph is set to super private. I have like a weird username. Anyway, but it knocked a full point off my star rating because I hated the ending. So the ending, if you haven't read this book, is, so it's the story of this couple. They're teens. They like fall in love when they're like children. They're like childhood best friends to lovers. And then he moves to Iceland, where his family is from, and they like lose touch. And then he moves back, and we find out she had terminal cancer, and so she didn't want to make him sad. Which, like, that's never a good move. I'm sorry. How many books have we read in which, I mean, I've read a lot. Like I said, I went through like a heavy-duty sicklet phase. But like, how many books have we read in which the main character has cancer and is like, I didn't tell you because I wanted to save you from the pain? It never works. That's not how loving people works. That's not how like grief works. So anyway, he comes back, finds out she is dying. She has like months left to live. And the last chapter, so anyway, this whole story, they promised each other, like when they were fairly young, that they were only gonna like kiss each other, which is like very cute, very sweet, whatever. But then she dies at 17. The epilogue is about him reflecting back on like his relationship with her, but also like what he's done in like the interceding 10 years. It's like 10 years later. And then he's like, this dream feels like very vivid because he like dreams of her. That's like their whole thing, is that like when people die, you dream of them and they like visit you in your dreams. Great, cool, whatever, we love that, so sweet. And he's like, this dream seems like realer than usual. And she's like, yeah, you're actually dead. And like, it doesn't explain kind of what happened to him, but they're like, he died peacefully in his sleep as a 27-year-old. And he like never fell in love again. He never kissed anyone else. And that just made me really sad. I like hated that ending. I like recently, in the past few years, have grown to like really despise endings that like make it seem like after someone dies that like your life is not worth living. Because I think grief is like really hard, and we don't need like more, I don't know how to articulate it. I follow Nora Borealis on Instagram and on TikTok, and her first husband died. He had terminal brain cancer and died a few years into their marriage. They had like one small child, and now she's remarried, and she talks a lot about grief and like losing her first husband and how like losing the love of her life. She has another love of her life. I don't know, it's just like really beautiful and talking about life after grief, and I think it's like amazing and gorgeous, and like we need more stories like that. I mean, that's like a real story and this is like a fictional story, but I like hate that fictional stories always have these endings in which like you're like true love dies and like life's over, because like sometimes people die, like that's most of the time people die. Like, that's how it goes. I think this messaging that, like, life is not even worth living after someone is dead is, like, a little toxic. It's not my favorite. And, fine, he didn't want to, like, love someone else again, but, like, he was having a good life, he was doing photography, like, and he was just, like, so young. And they painted it as this, like, really sweet thing that he, like, died as a 27-year-old and, like, got to be with his love again. And I was like, this is not sweet, this is tragic. I mean, both of their deaths are, like, tragic. His death is not less tragic because he gets to, like, be with his love. Anyway, I did have a big problem with that, as you may have noticed. Let's go through some of the things I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading The People We Meet on Vacation. I'm, like, slowly getting through this one. It's good. Emily Henry is great. This is maybe my least favorite Emily Henry. I was hoping I would like it more this time through, and I'm not far enough to, like, make a distinguishing comment. This is the story of Alex and Poppy. They're, like, best friends from college who used to go on vacation together every summer, but 2 years ago something happened. And, now they have to figure out what they're gonna do. Because, like, now they haven't gone on vacation in a while. They're going on one last vacation to see if they can make it work. It's a romance, and last time I really enjoyed it, and then I found the ending a little dissatisfying, but I'd also finished A Little Life literally, like, the week before, so I'm hoping that my heart will be less cold this time as I read it. We'll see. I remember, and I've already experienced, that the main characters in this, Alex and Poppy, have, like, literally some of the best book chemistry I've ever read. Emily Henry writes banter like nobody's business. So yeah, I just started this last night. I read, like, one story from it. It's called Out There by Kate Folk. And it's a collection of, like, sci-fi-ish short stories. The first one I read is about this woman who lives in the society where there's these, like, artificial intelligent, they're, like, sort of like robots, but not entirely. I don't totally know what they are. But they go on dating apps and, like, catfish women, essentially. But then they'll meet up with you. Like, they exist, so they'll, like, meet up with you. And then when you, like, least expect it, they'll, like, steal your identity. Which is, like, rude. I'm still reading Cuckoo Cloudland. Will I finish it at some point? I don't know. I need to just, like, commit to, like, reading it and just, like, sit there and read it. Maybe I'll do that this weekend. I will probably finish something else. Some other stuff today. It's Saturday morning. It's only, like, 11 a.m. I plan to kind of do some more reading today. When I finish stuff, and if I finish stuff, it'll just be in next week's vlog. So that is that for this week's vlog. We are not doing well. We are at 4 out of 30 when we should be closer to 8 or 9 out of 30. So we're, like, 50% behind. But, like, I haven't lost hope yet. We could still catch up. I think I also maybe need to pick some shorter books. I think me being like, I'm going to read 30 books in 30 days but not change the length of the books I'm reading is maybe setting myself up for failure. Anyway, tune in next week if you want to know how things are going. And I will talk to you then, but I'll also talk to you before then because I have new videos coming out this week. So, have a great one. See you later.